So it's time to get real about it. Maybe, quick introduction. Olga already introduced me, so nothing much more to say here except that, CEO, co-founder of Markit. Markit is now 20 years old. We celebrated our birthday this summer. So I guess I'm just very grateful of being able to be part of the Markit journey with an amazing team, amazing partners, amazing clients. It's been a hell of a ride. And during these 20 years, we have learned a lot. We've tried a lot. We've failed a lot. We also succeeded. And of course, we faced a lot of challenges. So I think at the moment, definitely all of us are facing another challenge, which is the sustainability challenge. And with the risk of maybe sounding a bit too dramatic, I would also say that, I think it's more than that. This situation is more than about companies being, sustainable or creating sustainable business models. If you think back to the summer we had in Europe, the heat waves and the floods, the forest fires, this has a bit of an end of the world movie feel about it, right? So when we founded the company 20 years ago, sort of the climate change was a scientific debate. But I feel today it's a reality. It's a reality that we are experiencing. And when sort of looking at our children, you of course worry or wonder what sort of reality will they experience in sort of 50 or maybe 100 years down the line where their kids grow up. So definitely I will not go in. We all realize this is a huge problem and we can already see it and we can already feel it. So right now it's really the utmost time for everybody to get real about it. Hence the title of the presentation, Getting Very Real About It. This is not already a normal situation. This is a crisis. And in a crisis, we all have to produce extra inches. We have to go further, longer, stronger than we usually would, because this is a very serious issue. And Getting Real About It is the title because I think, again, we're done with talking. I guess it's time for action and action from everybody. First of all, I would like to sort of start with kind of a story or the philosophy behind the sustainability strategy in Markit, if you will. And the principle is something we use generally in Markit, and it's called clean your own doorstep. Credit where credit is due. This is actually a quote from Mother Teresa, who famously said, if everybody would clean their own doorstep, the world would be a clean place. This is something that inspired us. And the story I'm about to share is kind of a personal story where really this sort of, the quote from Mother Teresa sort of, and the principle and the philosophy really hit me. So there's a great sort of movement in Estonia, which is called basically Clean Estonia or Clean Up Estonia. Estonia is a beautiful country, a lot of forest, amazing nature, it's like great place. And more often than not, you still have sort of trash and garbage lying down in the nature. And it's a sore sight for your eyes, obviously. And there was an amazing movement. So it was very organized, very well done. We are Estonians, so we do a lot of stuff. So everything was sort of, mapped on a sort of geographical locations, very well organized, which means that Estonians went out on a spring day to clean up. So it was organized, well done. Where's the trash? We go there, etc. Great movement. And me and my family, we participated in this every year. It was a great day out. You felt like you're making a difference. You're cleaning the nature. It was really, really good. It was good for 2 years. On the third and fourth year, especially, and the fifth year, I started to realize that we're picking up trash in the very same place every year. So let's say, there's a riverbed, like a riverside we used to clean, and basically every year, more or less the same trash was in the same place. And then it got a little bit challenging for me because look, we're picking up other people's trash. That happens sort of regularly. So it's a huge event, like a lot of time goes in organizing it. Is this a true impact? And now going back to the philosophy that's behind Markit's sustainability strategy, that's kind of the philosophy, because if you think about it, if everybody would clean their own doorstep, this whole movement would not be necessary. If people would not put down trash in nature, nobody would have to clean it up. I think almost like a better way or a better strategy would be to clean up around you, right? I mean, if everybody cleans their own doorstep, sort of 500 meters, 1,000 meters, depending sort of dimensions of your home and stuff like that, and where you are in the city or in the country, If that happens on a daily basis, like you walk out of your house, you see something, you know, in the grass, you pick it up and you put it in a trash can, like the world would be clean. There would be no need for big movements or big speeches or anything. So that's our strategy. Clean your own doorstep. And so we've taken this very seriously. We want to clean our own doorstep. Everything that Markit does at our doorstep should be sustainable. And to go the extra inch in terms of what we can influence, our doorstep, the immediate surroundings of Markit and what we do as a company. And the inspiring message for us here is like, okay, let's lead by example. Let's clean our own doorstep. But imagine if everybody does that. Every company in the world. Or it actually probably it's enough, like every third or fourth or fifth company in the world just cleans their own doorstep, like spick and span clean. The world would be a clean place. And the impact to sort of environment and sustainability would be just simply huge. So this is the philosophy behind our approach, actually to many things, not only sustainability, but especially sustainability. Let's make sure our doorstep is clean in terms of the environment. The first point I'd like to make for the strategy is that Markit, it's a pun intended, right? So no animals were hurt when filming this movie. The environment was not harmed when we built Markit. So Markit is kind of, in a way, very sort of sustainable, lean, efficient, kind to environment by definition. And what I mean by that is, you know, our customers know that if you're new to this webinar, Markit business model is very virtual. So we are using basically existing infrastructure, existing distributors, existing logistic providers. So we're building a very valuable virtual layer, and almost we're bringing out the best of what exists. So no new warehouses, no new cars, very minimal energy consumption. I mean, our servers sort of consume the energy per year about maybe 3-4 normal households. So, and also, of course, we're very electronic. So we haven't really, and there's a message in here, we haven't built something to outcompete somebody or build a new warehouse or have another distributor which competes with existing one. And we have basically collaborated and used what already exists to build a virtual and very sustainable model to basically optimize what already exists. And that is really good for resources when you think about the world as a whole, right? So kind of like, if we compete with each other, we're still using the world's resources to do so. Doesn't it make sense to kind of, I mean, competition is good, don't get me wrong, but at times to use what we've got. And this is what Markit has done. We integrate distributors, vendors into a new layer of service, which is truly useful for the customers and the partners involved. And of course, everything is electronic. So a lot of paper printing has been avoided in the history of Markit. And kind of similar point, our business model is using procurement supply chain in the most efficient way. So essentially, what we have done is create the most optimal way for the product to reach your office once it's out of the manufacturing facility, right? So 70%, I think, about of the CO2 issue comes from manufacturing, about 20 from transport. We're not the manufacturer, so our doorstep is making the transportation part really optimal. I can't go into the details, but I would really like to make a confident claim. Markit business model, in terms of the distance traveled for a product and the CO2 spent in the transport phase of the problem, is probably the most optimal that is available at this moment. The goods travel very specifically in the most optimal way through the supply chain, which we optimize through our software. So now to the kind of sustainability strategy. Again, very sort of the thinking here is very much influenced by the doorstep idea. So we're looking at what we can do, you know, what is close to us, what is our doorstep. And first here, of course, is less miles, less CO2. What we can do is make sure, like I already said, that the product sort of travels the least possible distance, the least possible miles, hence also the least CO2 spent. So sustainable delivery is really key part of our strategy. We can do really an amazing thing there to optimize the travel time of every single laptop, USB memory stick, what have you. Then the second part of our strategy is transparency of choices. Obviously, we're a marketplace. We're providing a lot of good information to make better purchasing decisions, right? Price, availability, product information, etc. in sustainability part, we are now going to provide information about the sustainability and environmental friendliness of the products. So kind of making that also like a parameter of choice or a dimension of choice. So what we can really influence is that we have our customers are one of the biggest, corporations in the world, right? So if they start to make more sustainable choices due to the information that we provide, that's obviously great. Packaging is a problem. I mean, everybody who has had a package from Markit knows that this is our doorstep. We need to do something about it. And then, of course, circle it. This is something we want to be part of. We strongly are. And this is a little bit beyond just kind of like refurbishing laptops. In the future, we're very focused also about kind of how the new stuff is produced. So providing information in the catalog, for example, what is the percentage of reused materials in a particular product? So this is something that we want to make visible and available, again, to drive more sustainable choices. So the first part of the strategy, less miles, less CO2. Some really, really cool stuff here, which is by the way live and usable today. So most sustainable delivery model, and I'm not saying this lightly. And if somebody wants to challenge me on this, just let's set up a meeting and let's debate this, because what we do here is truly, I would say, unique, special, huge impact in terms of the sustainability of delivery of IT products. So essentially, if we, to say it very simply, we've built a network of IT distributor suppliers globally, right? What that basically allows you to do is to basically search or look, depending on what your delivery address is, what is the closest availability of the products that you need. So let's make it cool. Let's say you need to deliver something to downtown Singapore. Then you can open Markit and look what is already there. Multiply that by 45 countries that we currently have. So if your delivery address is, I don't know, downtown Munich, you can also open Markit and look what is already there. What is the closest place you could get the product you need, which is obviously a huge thing. Very often today's purchasing models, they are still pretty much centralized. So of course, this is not a criticism. The solutions are just not there. So a lot of companies do central procurement. So they buy, let's say, 1,000 Lenovo laptops to their head office or headquarters from a local reseller, depending on where their HQ is. And then they distribute those laptops from the central locations. But of course, a lot of additional miles to be traveled for those products. And we have also seen sort of Lenovo laptop coming from Asia to Europe and then centrally procured from a local supplier and then actually sent back to Asia. So definitely an alternative to this, a great alternative in terms of sustainability, is the central ordering, yet local deliveries, getting the product from the closest place that you could possibly have it. And we've done something really, really cool about this. We have something called the basket optimizer. So obviously, like human intelligence is pointing and clicking, but software intelligence means seeing almost the whole database in real time. So this is what you see on your screen is a basket optimizer. So basically, as a customer, you make your initial selection. You do your best in the catalog to choose the products that you need and you put together a basket. Our software can optimize that. Classically, we optimize it for the best price because from the software, sometimes you have a better price even than what you chose. Because again, for the software sort of intelligence point of view, right? Or we can offer you fastest delivery. If you are in a hurry, you can also optimize your order to get it the quickest possible. What we have added to this is like super cool. You can optimize last mile distance. I mean, central ordering, local delivery is already a really, really good approach compared to the centralized procurement models, right? But here you can go another mile. Just like I said, let's get real about it. We need to do extras. That's an extra inch here. So basically, you could optimize for the kilometers. So if you see the initial selection, which is indicated in blue, it's 745 kilometers, right? But actually, the shortest distance is 246. So you're kind of saving 500 kilometers from there. And especially compared to the best price, you're saving 1,700 kilometers. So this is really cool. You can make truly sort of sustainable choices in terms of the most optimal delivery, the least kilometers that the product should travel. So the optimizer is live, use it, it's great, but also we want to make it really measurable. Again, let's get real about it. Let's clean our own doorstep. The next step would be to create reporting on this. So obviously, if you're making these choices which are sustainable in the basket, we want to then, as a next step, provide a report. It kind of like exactly how much you save in terms of kilometers. So that's very cool. We do this, of course, for price savings, but we will also do that for CO2 savings, because very often the choice will be between price and sustainability as well. So we want the customers to have the data of actually exactly how much kilometers, miles they have saved, and how this translates into CO2. Super cool, very real, very practical, very measurable, usable in every single order. Second part of the strategy is then what I mentioned: simplicity, transparency, sustainable choices in the catalog. TCO is huge here. So Dimitro from TCO will sort of talk you through what TCO is and what they do. And what they do is absolutely great, amazing. This is a third-party certification. These guys do very thorough, very detailed research in terms of what products are more environmentally friendly, more sustainability oriented. And here it looks just like a one click, but behind it, there's a whole world. And Dimitro will explain that world. But notice, with that click, you can filter out from the whole catalog the most sustainable products available. So yeah, one click, but a big change. That's what I'm saying here. In addition to TCO, we're also adding Energy Star, everything we can actually possibly add to give, in addition to kind of price, availability, product parameters, also environmental parameters to your procurement choices. Driving more sustainable choices is a huge bit of our strategy. As again, we are a very small company, relatively speaking, but our customers are huge. If we can help those customers make more sustainable choices, it would be a big change, a huge change. So this is definitely our focus, and we'll continue improving that. Maybe one quick note is like, just look at the red one there. In stock, 731. TCO certified, 25. So not all the products are TCO certified, and that click is a great choice. CO2 data. This is something new, guys, coming. Again, I'm sort of always careful about live dates, but we're trying to launch this in Q1 next year, and this is CO2 data for all the products. So as you know, if you're a client, you know that we have very extensive order history to have visibility of spend, to analyze your spend by sort of geography, region, who orders, delivery address, etc. Very detailed. What we will do, we will attach CO2 data on this. So for the whole life cycle. So you'll get data for any product that you bought. What is the manufacturing CO2, transport CO2, user CO2, and end of life. So detailed CO2 emission data on your products that you've purchased from Markit. So we merge that with our order history. So again, you have fully compliant data for the reporting, which is now a legal requirement, as you probably know. So this will be very, very cool. So this will provide basically a split for every product you buy from Markit for the CO2 data in basically every phase of the life of a product. That's pretty cool, guys. I mean, you can make better choices based on that. So like you can basically analyze sort of, I don't know, which stocking station has a smaller CO2 footprint, and then adjust your procurement accordingly. I mean, I think that's cool, really. I mean, unique, cool, and sort of attaches to what we are anyway very good at, orders history, sort of analyzing spend, giving you great data about your purchases, but now with CO2. Packaging, as I already said, I mean, well, I have an inkjet printer. Like this is meant as a kind of, this is not a criticism for HP, not at all. I mean, great company, we're all struggling with this. So the packaging is a huge thing. When I order like 4 cartridges for my inkjet printer, what is left in my home office floor is basically a small mountain of packaging, a lot of it plastic. So that it's definitely the time for a rethink. And that's the challenge for any sort of e-commerce company, any sort of manufacturer. This is our joint challenge. What we are sort of as a strategy chosen here is paper. I mean, we are promoting paper packaging because paper is recyclable. Paper is actually one of those kind of little known environmental success stories in the world. 71% of the paper consumed in Europe gets recycled. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, in the US, if we talk about recycling rates, 64% of paper gets recycled it's just 9% of the paper gets recycled. And paper is obviously a sustainable resource, right? You can plant trees and you can sort of harvest the trees and create paper. And if 70, 80% of that is recycled, of course, that can be increased if we work on that. So imagine 80, 90%, and that sort of puts also less burden on the trees if we increase the recycling rates. So that's a great strategy. I mean, packaging stuff in paper, plus some innovative things that I would quickly mention, it's a really, really cool strategy. And we think it's the way to go. Packaging paper, recycle paper. By the way, more to come from us on this topic. We are an active part of Sustainable Purchasing Leadership Council. So we are in a packaging work group. So we're working hard with other global companies to kind of create strategy, good strategy for packaging, promote them, spread them. So this is what we're doing. Sarah will talk about more about Sustainable Purchasing Leadership Council and what they do and how they do it. Great organizations, by the way, great mission. Please join them and please listen to what Sarah has to say today. Now, very closely related to sort of packaging thing is of course trees. So if we are doing paper packaging, although even if we recycle a very large percentage of that stuff, we still need to plant trees. And we like trees because of our roots. I mean, Estonia is like basically a forest. Like I was driving a client from Tallinn to Tartu, and he kind of became nervous at one point saying, where are we going? Because there was dark and it was just forest around. So he felt like we're going in some kind of a jungle, right? Estonia is basically a jungle because 51% of our territory is forest. We've scaled a very nice IT procurement model in 45 countries. So what we'd like to do now is scale the forest model. Because if Estonia is 55% and Globe is 30% forest, imagine if Globe would be 60% forest. First of all, it would be a beautiful place. And currently, the forests are consuming about 30% of the CO2 that is emitted. So if we would sort of double that or get it from 30 to 51, the consumption or the help that we get from the forest in terms of CO2 would also sort of almost double from 30 to 60, which it's currently, right? So, yeah. And we like trees. I mean, who doesn't like trees? I mean, forests, mushrooms. I mean, yeah, animals. Wonderful. Let's scale forests. So marketeers and our clients, we have a program and we're hard at work on this to plant trees across the globe. As we are in 45 countries, that means that our teams, our customers locally will have events to plant trees. We're already planning a few. We have a few. So planting trees, that's our thing, based on the roots, based on the packaging connection. And we're going to do that across the globe and we're going to scale it. So we're going to provide trees as a service or market trees as a service. And this will go live in 2023. We're still working to get this live before the year is over. What that basically means that we're teamed up with Ecology, which is a company who can plant trees globally and for a fee. So basically every customer will have an option to add a tree to the basket, which basically sort of neutralizes the packaging footprint that their basket has. So it's one click, plant a tree, and this is so cool because you can actually see the trees. Ecology has you will have a punch-out environment where you can go and basically look at your forest. So if you're a client and you start planting tree with us, you will see your forest online. You will see it grow. You can look at your trees when you have a coffee break. This is going to be really cool. We're going to do this actually truly globally in all the 45 countries simultaneously. Guys, let's plant trees. It's an amazing thing to do. It's cool. Well, we love that. And we would like to engage all of you as a team to plant trees across the world. So that's a summary here. Last mile distance calculation. Just let's make sure that IT is delivered in the most optimal way. Let's make better choices. I mean, TCO filters, environmental parameters, that's great. Every choice we make is an inch towards more sustainability, better environment. CO2 data, kind of the same thing, super powerful. Let's analyze this and again, make better choices. And packaging, we need to take care of this issue, recycle the paper. We sort of would promote that more paper is used in packaging, and then of course, planting trees across the globe. And I will finish where I started, basically, which is clean your doorstep. This is a picture of Ahrweiler, Germany. So probably you remember this from the news. There was a flash flood. Nobody expected that. You know, in Germany, it's a sort of one day 1 year of rain fell down, and like this was a peaceful village. Like nobody in that place or in Germany could imagine an environmental disaster in that place, especially happening overnight. This was huge and dramatic. Why this was very close to our doorstep was we were planning a company all hands event in Cologne. So this is Cologne and about, and we were planning to do things there, like to take a boat on the river, and it happened while we prepared. And we just were like, wow, everybody went, but it was very close to home for us because we were going there as a company. And then again, this sort of clean your own doorstep. If everybody would clean their own doorstep, the world would be a clean place. And driven by that philosophy, what we did, we had the event, we went there and we planted trees. So we went to Ahrweiler. You can see the Ahrweiler region, sort of your top left corner in the distance. So we engaged with the local forestry department. We had the plot and we planted trees, not just trees, but very smart trees that are very sort of resistant to extreme weather. So it was a really amazing time for us together as a company. We kind of, planted a forest in Ahrweiler, sort of as a sign of support and something really real and very practical together. It was an amazing day, and we felt we did a good thing. And a little bit now we have pictures from the forestry department in terms of how our trees are going, and it's really heartwarming to watch them grow. I have to say, it's very unexpectedly large degree of them survived, which was very nice and sweet. And yeah, and this is what we wanted to scale with our Markit Trees program. Let's plant trees together. And guys, let's make sure that we clean our own doorstep. That's actually all we have to do. Like, let's make sure that our thing is done. Let's clean our own doorstep and let's inspire others to do the same. And then the sustainability issue will be tackled. And I think we feel that's the best strategy. And we certainly will lead and do real things in IT procurement. Clean your doorstep. Let's do it together.